The Chamber's 22nd annual State of Northern Kentucky address was full of weighty issues as Boone, Campbell, Grant, and Kenton counties laid out their perspectives on the region's top issues. The replacement of the Brent Spence Bridge, tax incentives for angel investors, and bolstering air service at CVG were among several key items that were considered a high priority by our county leaders. We were pleased to note that our judge's executive didn't mince words when it came to their call for action on these important issues. Legislative leadership is paramount for several of these issues, namely to pass legislation in the upcoming session that will allow us to accelerate the construction of our bridge and consider a variety of innovative funding methods. We can't be dependent on federal funding alone. Legislative leadership is also needed for the passage of changes to the Kentucky Tax Code to incentivize investors, known as angels, to put their money into new business ventures and support entrepreneurship. With states across the country adopting this incentive, it is imperative for Kentucky to do the same. Support is high in the General Assembly for this idea, and we need our entire legislative delegation to act as champions to move this bill toward passage. So how do we encourage leadership among our legislative members on these and other issues? Well, here are two ways. First, the Chamber-supported Northern Kentucky Business Political Action Committee is one way to stay informed and help elect pro-business legislative leaders. The Northern Kentucky Business PAC has evaluated incumbent and new candidates in several of the state's upcoming legislative races to identify those that offer the best chance of progressing pro-business issues. Since competitiveness has never been higher between regions and states for economic development, we must do our part to ensure that we are electing leaders that will focus on job-creating policies to help the region's economy prosper. Even though no candidate is perfect, much data has been processed with thoughtful discussions that have occurred by members of the Chamber's Political Involvement Committee and then shared with the Northern Kentucky Business PAC Board, who ultimately determined the PAC's endorsement and financial contributions. The October issue of the Chamber's Northern Kentucky Business Journal has a list of candidates who have been given support by the Northern Kentucky Business PAC. You can access our journal online through our website at www.nkychamber.com. Now, the second way to encourage leadership among legislative members is by your participation in the election process. The upcoming elections are important to business as well as the entire community. As much as national politics and races catch our attention through the media, it's been said many times that all politics are local. Northern Kentucky business leaders must make informed decisions and then turn out at the polls to cast their votes. I ask all of you to know the ballot before you arrive at the polling place as well. Be familiar with the candidates that are on that ballot in your community and then get out to vote. Northern Kentucky is counting on you on Election Day, Tuesday, November 6th, so be there. Well, with activity on the horizon in the upcoming Kentucky General Assembly, the Chamber is also asking local communities to submit their most pressing construction and infrastructure projects that will require federal funding from Washington, D.C., as the Chamber begins plans for the March 2013 D.C. fly-in. While federal funding of the Brent Spence replacement project is of foremost concern for our community, we are also reaching out to identify and evaluate other projects that justify federal funding. The projects are then analyzed at the federal level based on criteria relative to the type of impact they would have on the community and if they meet the overall objective of the business community. Once endorsed, the Chamber delegation advocates for these projects during our face-to-face meetings with federal legislators. If you have a project you wish to have considered, submit your request no later than Friday, November 16th to Jane Nelson at 859-578-6391 or email her at jmelson@nkychamber.com. Well, are you interested in meeting with foreign buyers visiting Greater Cincinnati? The International Matchmaking Program, or IMP, brings foreign buyers to Southwest Ohio and Northern Kentucky to meet with U.S. firms. Specifically, the following industries are targets of the program: aerospace, advanced manufacturing, energy, environmental technologies, and healthcare technologies. Through the IMP, local firms can register to receive company profiles of foreign buyers visiting the area. If a buyer looks like a potential fit for the products and services of your organization, then reply to the alert and arrange for a meeting at your location. To register as a participating U.S. supplier, you can contact the U.S. Department of Commerce, U.S. Commercial Service Office in Cincinnati at 513-684-2944 or email kara.sweeney@trade.gov. Registration includes providing company background information, a description on the type of buyers desired, and other preferences for selling internationally. There is no fee for this service, and registering does not guarantee meetings with international buyers. The IMP service is offered by the U.S. Department of Commerce, U.S. Commercial Service Office in Cincinnati, through a partnership with the Northern Kentucky International Trade Association, or NIKITA, managed by the Northern Kentucky Chamber and the Southern Ohio District Export Council. Well, folks, right now we need to take a short break. And when we come back, we'll be ready for another business focus. So don't go away.